Welcome back to the Elite Recruits channel, guys. If you don't already know who I am, my name is Omar Almodovar. I am the founder of Elite Recruits. If you don't know my background, I played in 3 different levels of college baseball not too long ago, in particular, the way that recruiting is now. So I started my college career in a JUCO in the absolute middle of nowhere in Oklahoma during COVID, where everything really changed. From there, I went to a top 25 Division II program in Savannah, Georgia, and then I entered the portal after 2 years there and was able to play at the Division I level in High Point University. Since I finished my playing career, I started Elite Recruits, and at the time of this video, January 2025, I've placed over 200 athletes in college programs, all the way from the SEC down to the junior college level and everything in between. So what are we going to be covering today? Today we're going to cover how to get recruited in season. Why is that important? Because it changes from the off season and the summer to now when you're in season. How can you maximize your opportunities? Make sure that you stay till the very end of this video because we're going to cover every single step so you get recruited throughout the season if you are still uncommitted. Before we actually get into it, it's very important to understand how the recruiting cycle works. What do I mean by that? Well, we can all say here and agree that coaches recruit throughout the entire year, right? They're always looking for ways to make their team better. Now, how they recruit throughout the year is what changes. Well, for example, during the summer months, coaches are traveling a lot more because they're not busy with games. They are hosting events on campus. They're traveling to certain tournaments. During the fall, they have a team and they're getting prepared for a season, but they're not as busy as they are during the season. So during this time is where a lot of recruiting happens. And the type of recruiting that happens is most coaches have a whiteboard in their office or now, on their computer, and they're putting names on the board, right? The names on that board are the guys that they're going to be following, right? They're going to see their progress. Those are potential recruits. Well, throughout the fall, they're filling up that list with names of guys that they're going to be looking at. Once you get into the season and you get into the spring, things completely change, right? Where recruiting is no longer the number one focus. Now it's winning a championship and playing the game. So as a recruit, you have to understand how to adapt to in-season recruiting. Well, coaches are not going to be traveling as much to go see you play. In general, coaches are not traveling as much anymore because of the power of social media. They don't have to. That's not to say that every coach doesn't travel, but year after year, the number of coaches that are traveling to go see guys play in person has decreased with other resources for them to be able to evaluate talent, specifically Twitter. Let's get right into it. The number one and most important thing when it comes to recruiting, and more importantly, recruiting in season, is maximizing your exposure. Now, why is that important? Well, naturally, you're only going to have as many opportunities as coaches know about you, right? So if you have 10 coaches that know you exist, well, you're limited to only having 10 potential offers. But what if you were to maximize your exposure? On a 13-second video like this young man had over 90,000 views on his video. What did that turn into? Well, close to 100 coaches have followed me since the original post. Ask yourself, how many coaches right now even know that you exist and have talked to you in recent times? Now, how to put videos together is very simple and very important to learn how to do it the right way. So, you have to have a marketing strategy. It is not an accident for you guys to see results like this. So this is another 10-second video of one of our former clients. And this video did almost 30,000 views with all his information here, as you see, right before the season. And what did that turn into? He signed to Eastern Michigan University, a Division I program that he was highly interested in. Another example here, and this is not an accident. There's a formula to this. So this guy right here, you see his video, all his information very nicely laid out and in detail. 64,000 views in this video, and he ended up signing to a Division I program that he was also very interested in, and this guy had schools calling from all over the place. So why is video important during season? Well, obviously coaches at the 4-year level, even at the JUCO level, in all levels of baseball, are going to be in their season throughout the spring. So they're going to be extremely busy winning games and trying to win a championship. So they're not going to drive out there to go see you play as often as they used to maybe back in the day or in general, because now they no longer have to. So if they're finding guys through social media and through the internet, why wouldn't you want to meet them there and make your life a lot easier? So as you guys can see, this is not an accident. There's a formula to it. These are those both same guys. Just committed, man. Thank you so much for all you've done for me. Seriously, gained so much notice and buzz from you guys. Elite Recruits has helped me so much to get to this point. I couldn't thank them enough for what they have done. You have to be able to put yourself in front of coaches in order to be seen. Elite Recruits does a great job of assisting you with that. They are always there for you when you need it. If you are looking for help to get your name out there, I would highly recommend working with them. So these are these guys' words, right? They understood that after joining us, how important exposure was. They were always good players. They always had good grades. That didn't change. But what changed was how much attention they were getting from coaches. Omar and everyone at Elite Recruits really helped guide me through the recruiting process by getting me over 60,000 views on Twitter. Omar opened up the doors to numerous opportunities for me to play at the next level. Elite Recruits is by far the best recruiting service I've worked with, and I highly recommend them to anyone that is serious about finding the right school. This is from him as well. He offered me a ton of money, and the coach seems awesome there. Ended up signing to Merrimack College, a Division I program. Now, how do you put these videos together? The very first thing is that you have to understand what coaches want to see, what they're looking for, right? If you have game footage, that's great. Practice footage is also very important, but more important than either game footage or practice footage is how high quality the videos are. And what do I mean by that? Well, having the right angles where coaches, if they're not able to see you play in person, they still need to be able to evaluate your talent. So by getting videos from the right angles, you're actually putting yourself in a good position for them to be able to evaluate you and start interest from just seeing your video. So you can see some of our guys here. This is a picture, very simple setup. Behind him, you can also go behind the catcher and get really good video. This guy right here was working with the Rapsodo, and he has even his metrics here. That's phenomenal. You don't have to have that, right? If you have it, that's great, but that's not necessary. This, funny enough, is actually 2 videos of me during my playing days while I was training, and these are the angles I would record from so that coaches can evaluate my swings from different angles, and I was giving them stuff to work with. The easiest thing and probably the best investment you can make for your recruiting process right now is to buy a tripod. I found this tripod on Amazon for less than $10, and it makes it super easy for you to be able to take it with you everywhere you go. And anytime you're training, you can take videos of yourself, which then you can post online and create opportunities for yourself. Now, the keys to exposure. We just covered having clean, high-quality video and how important that is. Now, number 2 is having a quality caption, right? What we see a lot of times is just guys posting random videos out there with no information, and that doesn't do anything for a coach, right? So this guy right here, we could have posted his video and said, Oliver Barkall threw 2 scoreless innings today and had 5 strikeouts. Well, congratulations. That sounds great, but that doesn't tell the coach anything, right? You want to make sure that you're putting important information, right? Height, weight, hometown, your metrics. And as you can see right here, this guy, he put his GPA. We put what specifically he was eligible for, what he was looking for, and then contact information, right? The easier you make it for coaches to be able to recruit you, the more likely that they are to. The harder they have to dig to find your information, the harder you're making it for them to be able to recruit you. So now you have clean, high quality video. You've put together a good caption. Number 3 is having a strategy. And this is what we go over with all of the guys in the program. But it's not just about posting the video randomly, right? You want to know the right times to post a video so that most coaches see it, what accounts you should be tagging, who you shouldn't be counting. I'll give you guys a freebie right now. One mistake that we see a ton of guys make is that they tag college coaches in their videos. Most guys think they're doing a good thing by doing that, but you're actually not. Why are you not doing a good thing? Well, you're not only closing yourself off to opportunities, right? But you're also putting yourself at a certain level. So, for example, let's say you tag a coach at a high-level Division II program in your video, and a Division I coach at a mid-major sees it, and he sees that you tagged the Division II coach, well, all of a sudden, why would that D1 recruit you if you were targeting a D2 for yourself, right? So don't close yourself off to opportunities. You don't want to limit how many coaches you can get on your radar. So I would highly discourage guys from tagging coaches directly. There's plenty of accounts that will retag, repost your videos. You can look into those to help you get more exposure. And then most importantly too is the frequency in which you post, right? A lot of guys, they'll post, once in a blue moon. That's not going to do enough for you. And then there's guys that post every single day. That ends up doing worse for you than good. So you have to find the right balance. And that's what we go over in detail inside our program. Now, number 2 is communication. Now, you can get exposure from videos and putting yourself out there, and that's good. That's going to generate interest. But interest alone is not going to turn into offers, right? A lot of guys, we see them waiting for offers to come to them. I guarantee you that there's a lot of guys in the country with your same exact numbers, same exact metrics, and same exact grades. You have to be able to communicate with the coaches to turn interest into actual offers. A lot of guys overcomplicate this process, but specifically in season, you have to reach out to coaches, right? You can't just wait for coaches to come to you because they're going to be very busy. Simply put, the more coaches know about you, your higher chance of success, right? The higher chances of you getting offers at the schools that you want to play at. The less coaches know about you equals lower chance of success. Simple as that. So you can think that you're cool and that you have great numbers and you're a great player, and that might all be true, but that doesn't mean that the coaches are going to come your way, right? You can be a great player, have great grades and great numbers. You still have to do your part to get in touch with the coaches and get attention from them. Now, keys to communication, very, very simple, right? This is something that guys will also mistake a ton. Number 1, and the most important thing, is volume. If I was the same player as you right now watching this video, we had the same exact everything across the board, but you only reached out to 10 schools and I reached out to 100, guess who would have more opportunities? Me, every single time. So the more you reach out to coaches, the more opportunities you're going to have. Number 2 is the quality of what you're actually sending in, right? This is something that we guide through all of the guys in the program, what exactly you should be sending to coaches to be able to maximize how many replies you get back, right? A lot of guys, they'll send a ton of emails or a lot of Twitter DMs and don't get replies, and then they think that that doesn't work. It's not that that doesn't work. It's that you're not sending the right things, right? You're either sending something that's way too long or sending something that doesn't have enough information. You have to have a quality message. And the last one is the channel. What do I mean by that? Well, where you're actually sending the messages, right? If you're sending them through email, that typically has a lower response rate than Twitter, or if you're sending them through Twitter, that has a higher response rate, or if you have an advisor or a coach reaching out to schools directly for you, that is the highest chance of getting replies from coaches. Granted that your coach at school has connections to the schools that you really want to go to. So very simple keys to how to communicate with coaches. Number 3 is the most important one that I'm going to talk about. And this is where, for lack of a better word, most of you guys suck, right? And it's not your fault. It's because you have so many things going on in the middle of the season. But number 3, and the most important one, is consistency. Now, what do I mean by consistency? I need you guys to understand that at the very end of the day, this is your career that we're talking about, right? And if you want the best results for yourself, you have to show up for yourself and do the things that off the field are going to get you to the next level, right? There was a time and day where if you were a good player, that was going to get you to a school, right? Yeah, you still need to be a good player to get there, but being a good player in its own is not going to be enough, right? You have to do these things off the field. Now, when you're managing school, practice, games, working out, and, just trying to live a normal college life, it can become very difficult. And that's where we step in for guys and help you skip all the trial and error and inconsistencies that come from doing things on your own. But I hope this video was very informational for all of you. If you guys are interested in working with somebody directly, reach out to me in the DMs on @EliteRecruits_ or message me directly on Twitter saying uncommitted. Tell me a little bit more about you, and if you seem like a good fit, then we'll hop on a call and see if I can represent you through the recruiting process.